Welcome to livzenastrology, the channel for updates and reflections, where we are grounded in the stars and elevated by consciousness. Thank you for tuning in. Hi guys, this is Carmela Yvette with livzenastrology, and I just wanted to pop on and give some reflections on the energy as we may be feeling it real time, with the continuing Cazimi with Mars and the Sun. Again, Cazimi's meaning the heart of the sun. So Mars is traveling conjunct or next to the sun in Scorpio. And they're going to be doing this dance until the 21st, 22nd of November. And just, touching upon the energy and just coming into realization today from other astrologers that are posting on the energy, because a lot of people are feeling this energy, that this conjunction, this particular transit, the last time that it happened was 1991. And so upon reflection of what I was doing and where I was in my own life in 1991, and I would suggest that you guys as well kind of look back, and looking to the past is interesting because I call it like visiting the museum. I want to visit that timepiece part of my life to see what was happening and then integrate the wisdom of what happened then into the now. So I would just encourage you to, if you're time traveling backwards in time, and when we reflect upon the past, I call it time traveling because we are time travelers in that way, to glean what was happening in your life back in 1991 that was significant, that can be applied to what's happening now and how it's related to the now. So what was coming in really strongly, especially with Mercury transiting through Sagittarius, is there was an awareness that as a Gen Xer, I graduated high school back in 1991. So I graduated. There was a graduation process. There was an honoring of having gotten to a certain chapter or a certain, crossed a certain threshold, if you will, and a rite of passage. And so now, fast forwarding to the now, where is that perhaps happening? This graduation, this rite of passage happening for all of us as a collective energy. And of course for ourselves as well, individuated. And what I wanted to share is because again, I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart. I have my sun, my moon, and Mercury all in Scorpio. And I've got a lot of planets and asteroids and stars also in Sagittarius. So I have a big stellium between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So this is I'm really integrating this energy as well. And because my North Node is in Sagittarius in the first house, natally North Node is what we've come to embody. Really opening up my throat chakra and speaking on the energy, because with my Mercury natally in the 12th house next to the moon in Scorpio, I want to keep these things hidden, right? Because Scorpio is a feminine aspect. It's a feminine sign. So we have what are considered masculine or feminine placements in astrology, and not so much denoting the gender, but the frequency, right? So we know that feminine is more of a magnetic. It's an attractor. It's going inward, like the yin going in. And then the yang, let it hang, is the masculine, right? So right now, Scorpio in Mars is action masculine, but it's in a yin feminine sign because Scorpio is water and water's yin. So we've got in astrology, the earth and the water signs are yin, and the air and the fire signs are yang. So while Mars, which is predominantly an action planet, right? Would be considered more yang, is in a water yin sign. So I can only reflect on this from my own gnosis and from my own energy levels as to over the last few days been feeling very introverted, going in with my action, right? Going in with my inner gnosis as accessing my own inner wisdom points, Sagittarius, Mercury, developing the higher mind as there's these alchemic processes happening within me. So this could present itself as possibly wanting to sleep more, having low action, even though, Mars is in a very dynamic aspect within Scorpio. There's a dynamicism, but it's happening inward. So I liken this to, there's a reaction, a chemical reaction happening, but it's happening in the cells to parts of us that we can't see, the unknown, the unseen parts of us. But there's also what I'm recognizing too, observing the masculine around me and the wisdom that's emerging from the masculine. And I say this because I listened to a very dynamic podcast yesterday, back to back, a couple of them with Robert Edward Grant and Mateo DeSrephanas. And I don't know if you've ever heard of these beings, but please check them out on YouTube. I know that they've both been on Gaia television in their own television shows. I think one was Initiation with Mateus and the other was Codex with Robert Edward Grant. Anyway, these two powerhouse masculine came in and shared very deep wisdom, again, Mercury Sagittarius, about our feminine nature, about sacred geometry, about past lives, about who we are as a species, a collective energy that we might all be experiencing. So really recognizing that there may be some energy coming from the masculine component of us, or the masculine aspects, and yet reflecting how it's a deep inward journey. So there's a paradoxal energy happening, and a recognition that we are all paradoxes, divine paradoxal energy happening now. And we're gleaning understanding as we continue to unfold with these processes by allowing, because yin, feminine aspects of us, is all about the allowance. So on Mars is wanting to take action and wanting to penetrate the primordial life force energy, and it may be happening on an internal basis, an internal aspect of us that we cannot see. So if you're needing to take that extra nap, if you're feeling like you've got a lot to do, there's a lot that wants to be produced, right? These are the days with this Cazimi happening between now and even November 22nd to do the internal work of allowing this very generative, very potent solar energy to penetrate the cells by resting, by staying in that state of allowance, and maybe even using the mantra, I allow, I allow, I allow, I allow all the energies to come up and come out through me and transfigure and transform and burn away. Because again, we're looking at Phoenix energy, we're looking at Scorpionic energy, which is transcendence, transformation, and transcending through transformation. So, working with divine alchemy of the elements, right? And so because the moon today is in Capricorn, which is an earth component, also feminine. And Capricorn, because it's interesting, because Capricorn has historically by astrologers been denoted to be more with the masculine, like the moon being the mother, and then which is Cancer, and then the opposite, Capricorn being father. I was recognizing that it's actually, there might be a difference in the way we've been downloaded the information, or just maybe an upgrade into the processing of, well, what if Capricorn, while the moon's in Capricorn, is actually the grandmother energy? Because Capricorn is feminine and it's elder. It's the ancient one, right? It's the mastery. And so because it's in a feminine sign, which is Capricorn, I don't see it so much today in this new sort of aha awareness that it's the father, but it's actually the great grandmother. And so tuning into the great grandmother energy, where maybe father would be Jupiterian, right? Sagittarius would be the great father because he's the father sky, right? He's the god of the father of the gods. But there's also, and Sagittarius is a fire sign, right? So it's masculine. But just diving into the gnosis and going into the elementals, that perhaps the great grandmother energy, the older elder feminine, is coming in to remind us that all is as it should be. And all is perfected state, even if the mind is maybe misunderstanding or not congruent with the isness, right? Because it's in polarity. There's two parts of the brain. And I love this podcast and what I just spoke of with Mateus DeSrephanas and Robert Edward Grant. And they go into the science, and they say it so eloquently, which again, I'm still learning and processing, Sagittarius. I'm still downloading the information and then applying it to my own inner wisdom with what my own life experiences and know to be true for me. And again, I would encourage you to maybe seek out, because that's also a Sagittarius, is the seeker of higher knowledge, of higher wisdom. Seeking out the masculine energies within us that have embodied this deeply feminine gnosis of beingness, of perfectedness, of the divine alchemy that already is. We're just recognizing that these processes are happening deep within our cellular structures. The memory is as above, so below, as deeply within, so deeply without. And the further in you go, the further out you explore. Again, we live in divine paradoxes. These are the dichotomies of being human and having a spiritual nature in a human body, which again, we've got this opposition still happening with Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus being change, and Taurus meaning the body, or the earth is corresponding to the body. So there might be some deep alchemy happening within the body right now that's very internal, very yin oriented. And then it's so we need time for the restructuring. We need to use this Mars energy and not so much an external way, which we could be seeing playing out on the world stage in the inversion aspect of Mars, which is war, right? So if you find yourself warring or angry, or these vibrations of energies are coming up and out through you, again, to be distilled, it's almost like let it come up to the top, and then you just kind of scrape the top off, I'm thinking like when you're cooking and some things come up to the top, and then you just kind of scrape the top off. It's kind of like the stuff that's ready to be discarded. You've got to still let it come up. And so this may denote a time of deep rest, taking the Epsom salt baths. I've actually been using magnesium flakes in my bath with lavender, right, to calm the nervous system, anything that's going to help the body during this time. Again, cell salts, mineralizing the body, because the minerals are really, really important right now as it's been maybe depleted. We're repleting these minerals through just simple tools, simple alchemy, but yet powerful. Rest is a definite powerful alchemizer if you can get into the deep REM sleep state, because there's things happening in the netherworld, the unseen parts of us, which Mars is taking action on, but it's in a very yin way, which is still deeply unknowable. And we're still learning about the divine feminine, because up until this point, I feel that the divine feminine has only been spoken on in a very masculine way. So we're still learning the language of even how to speak on what is unspeakable, to talk about what cannot be spoken, the ineffable, really. And we're trying to share it through the language, through our vibration, through the words, through our own inner gnosis, through our actions. And right now, with this Cazimi, taking action on the yin qualities of yourself, allowance, take that rest, maybe stay quiet. This is also, I felt such a need to just not speak today, just really to come into my body in a very gentle, organic way with no sound, just letting my organs vibrate, just letting my own inner hum of my cells as I was allowing myself to get into deep reflection and deep sleep state, and also working with crystals. I've been gifted this beautiful garden quartz crystal that I've been playing with. And it's funny, I found myself waking up to it in my hand. I was just like, almost like a binky, right? Like a blanket, like a comfort, because the quartz itself is an amplifier. And I've been really setting intentions on working with my subconscious. So really doing subconscious work, subconscious reprogramming, really calling in through the sleep state, because sleep is a third of what we do during the day. And so again, sleep is very yin. It's very passive, but there's so much magic happening within the sleep state. So again, inviting in an opportunity through this Cazimi, this scorpionic transformative energy of allowing yourself to be, because that the change, the action, all of it's happening internally right now. We can't see it. It will be manifested later on as the frequencies start shifting. We go into more yang, let it hang, yin, let it in. So right now we're letting it in. We're letting the action of Mars through Scorpio. It's a very inward journey. So this is just a reflection I wanted to share as I've been processing my own energies and navigating these uncharted spaces within myself by just allowing myself to traverse. And of course, my guiding light is my North Star, which is my inner light, which is this knowing that this too shall pass, that to be in the darkened state right now is absolutely the time to be here, that we are all in this darkened space of the void of transfiguration, of transformation. And the light will come. The light, we're in a cyclical period where everything, it's like the tides. It goes in and it comes out, like the breath. Goes in, it goes out. Again, yin is in and yang is let it hang. So right now it's time to go in, to allow the natural processes of the alchemy of Mars and Scorpio, of the sun. If you can, go out into the sun and just be. Just take your shoes off, go be in the sun, and let the codex of the sun do its thing. It's happening already. It's happening naturally. We just got to get out of our own way and feel what we're feeling, because to feel it is to heal it. So this is for me, the masculine expression that's coming in. And then tuning into the masculine wisdom keepers that are sharing very yin concepts, very unknowable, deep, transformative concepts, especially right now while the moon is in Capricorn. The great grandmother energy is coming through, the nurturance, the divine nurturer, the wisdom keeper. These are all elements and concepts to play with and to integrate into your own gnosis. Thank you for listening to the channeled message. I truly appreciate it. If you found any value, please like, subscribe, share the content, as we are all wisdom keepers. And sharing the knowledge is really helping unlock these codexes within anyone who's drawn to this channel that's on this vibration. I really appreciate the support and just you being here, just sharing time and space with me. Thank you so much. Much love to you.